Hello, everybody. Good evening. We are live, and this week Allison is back,
I'm back.
and the girls are back in town, like the old Thin Lizzy song. Except the boys, it's the girls. And we have Ramon Moon Scarab joining us this evening, and we have a very special show tonight. And Ramon, when I invited him to join Allison and I, he said, I would really love to have a discussion about La Santa Muerte, and I think your channel this would be a good platform to do it. And she's someone very a spiritual deity that is very important to him. And I said, sure. And I know Allison loves everything skeleton, and she embraces more of the human skeleton. I'm more of the animal, skulls and skeletons. But I thought, wow, it would be wonderful just to have a Friday night and have Ramon join us and continue having some of our wonderful discussions. And Ramon, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having
It's
me.
good to have you. Um, and I'm just kind of going up in the chat because Jeff and I were having I couldn't get back all the way, but if everyone can send flowing some positive and protective healing energy, I'm not quite sure again where she is, but there's a line of severe thunderstorms and possibly tornadic activity coming her way. So we can all just put a lot of protective white light around her and wherever her home is, or that section, if anybody knows where it is, just lots of white light keeping her safe and protected. That
I
would be
love tornadoes.
great. Okay. When you're
And
kind of
storms should be
backstage,
good.
Allison's,
Fine.
history.
I do.
Um,
I love that kind of thing, but I love nature and all the wild storms and all of that. But yes, let's keep her safe.
anything but tornadoes. I love a good thunderstorm. I
Man,
love
I
a
would
good
love.
rainstorm.
Well, I'll just stop. I love
Yeah.
tornadoes. I think they're
I would love to
fascinating.
see a tornado. I
Me
would like to
too.
be on a tornado
Yep.
hunt, right?
Let's chase one.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
I've
Yep.
seen many ones here in Pennsylvania, but I would like to do a hunting of one,
Be
like
in
a
a.
gigantic one.
Yep.
Just make
Yep.
sure you're not in its path.
I
Oh,
know that
obviously, of course.
doesn't.
Well, yeah, I'm just, but
That wouldn't be a nice way to die, right?
oh my goodness. Oh, I don't know.
Who
Dorothy,
knows? Maybe I'll end it up
It might
in
be
a different
great. You
dimension,
never know.
oh, yeah, took you over to
an
Oz.
alternate universe,
Right.
right?
There you go. And so, Jeff is with us. Hello, Jeff. Let's see. And that's not hell yes about the tornado we were talking about.
I'm gonna
Having that
grab my fan, you guys.
having
I'm
that
so
three
sorry.
day weekend. Yeah, I got mine on the floor this time, so nobody should be able to
I
hear
have one
any
too.
motors going. Let's see, talking about getting back into the art. And hello, Miss Tarot D has
Hi,
joined
Miss
us.
Tarot D.
Thank you, Miss Tarot D, for being here. Moira is here. And Miss Tarot D says, Jeff, the Santa Muerte looks like one of my pictures when I was skinnier. Oh my God.
Who said that?
Miss Tarot D.
Of course.
Well, of
I
course.
should have
I
known.
mean, who else? Come on, Ramon. You know better than
I
that.
know. It's
Yes, right, Jeff. Miss Tarot D has arrived. So
always
Moira,
making an entrance.
yes, she has to.
Of course.
Got a reputation to keep up, or you know. Kristen Louise is here. Hello, Kristen. Poor Ramon, he has been back to back tonight with lives. Oh, poor
No,
Ramon.
I'm enjoying it.
Yes. I hope they are paying him well. Shh. Don't tell him.
With
Oh,
joy.
and really quick too. Happy birthday, Ramon. Today's Ramon's
Thank
birthday
you.
as well. So he's
Thank you
spending his
very
birthday
much.
with us. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, Gemini. I love
Yeah.
Yeah.
it. Happy birthday.
Now
Thank you.
I thought all my friends were Taurus, or and now it's like, oh, I have 3 Gemini now that I know of. I'm like, okay. So yes. Um let's see where you go. Okay, give them a sandwich. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what those two are talking about. Hello, Isadora. Good to see you, my dear. And Moira says, La Santa Muerte me importa mucho también. Or también? También?
También.
También?
También. Also.
No. I was going to say, my Spanish, and I lived in Arizona for like 8 years, and Parquito, you know. And I worked with a lot of ladies from Mexico and gentlemen up at the factory.
Paquito.
So
Poquito.
Parquito means very little.
Paquito, yes.
Uh-huh.
Parquito.
Little. Yeah, Paquito.
So Karen is here. Hello, Karen, and my dear. Oh, where in PA are you, Ramon? I'm originally from Pittsburgh.
Philadelphia
We
and
got Philly
Philly.
in the house. Philly
Yep.
and Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Philadelphia. Pittsburgh is 6 hours away from me. It's like
yep,
on the
it's
other
about
side of
right
the
under
state.
us. Mm-hmm.
Right on the other side of the state. I've been to Pittsburgh. It's quite a hike. I went to a concert actually, a Madonna concert. That's the only time that I've been to Pittsburgh.
And she got to sing with her. Well,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. That was one of the occasions. It was in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. Handing him the microphone. Saw that
Yes.
handsome boy face there in the audience. Oh, because she likes her Latino man. And she goes, yeah, sing for me. And oh, it was great. He showed me the video.
The
And
video.
oh, Ramon, you were so happy. It was like, if you died right then, it looked like you would be happy. You know,
Yeah.
like, okay. Like a Prayer too of all songs. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, that
yeah,
album was selected as one of the top 100 by Apple.
really.
Yeah, they recently did a chart of like the top 100 albums of all time. I disagree with a lot of the choices, especially like the first one, but she that album was among the 100. She should have
Very
had
cool.
more on the chart, but
Yeah, at least her
yeah.
earlier works.
Yeah.
And let's
Hmm.
see, there was something here. Karen said, my son wants to be a storm chaser, but he's 8. So hopefully not because that would scare me. I mean, the movie Twister was amazing. The
Hmm.
original Twister, not the remake. And hello, Terry, my dear. It's been a while, my dear. It's been a while, so good to see you. Thanks for popping in and saying hi. Boy, let's see. Oh, Maruta is here. Madame Maru's House of Cards. Alexandra Cormos. Hello, David is here. Oh wow, our chat is jumping this evening. Making sure I'm trying not to miss anybody. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Yes, that was. I mean, it's
Definitely.
a really good album. I had that album at the time, and it's really good. But I think there was other ones who could have been number one
Yeah.
instead. I agree
And
with number two. It was Thriller by
Maru.
Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah. I mean that goes down in history.
Hmm.
Nothing can top. I mean, hell, Def Leppard, their Pyromania never made it to number one because Michael Jackson's Thriller was there for like 37 weeks, or more, So, yeah, that's an album for the history books,
Well
definitely.
deserved, yeah.
And Maruta said, my friend who sells crystals lives in Altoona. I'm assuming that's Pittsburgh. I mean, Pennsylvania. I'm
Altoona.
not familiar.
Mm, yeah, I think so.
Jeff is like, oh my God, Terry is here. Yes, Terry is here. Let's see. And hello, Beth. And Ramon's birthday? Yes, it is. So he's spending it with us. Any special plans this weekend, Ramon? Allison, for the Memorial Day weekend? People are already crazy on the streets. I was just like getting home
We're
today.
having a Memorial Day birthday party on Sunday. Yeah.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. With my
You got anything
family.
planned here? Yeah. Allison?
Actually, we're having a belated birthday celebration on Sunday as well for my son, this is home visiting from college, and my niece, my sister's daughter. So we're doing it combined, which we've done before, and we'll have food and cake and a bonfire and all that good stuff. And
Ooh,
we'll
bonfire.
play games. So we'll play some board games. And what's that wildly inappropriate game that my family loves?
Wildly inappropriate.
Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah,
We always
I've
play
heard of
that.
that.
Mm.
Oh, it's awesome. Look it up. Yeah.
My partner loves that game. I've never played it.
Oh, it's so fun. Like with a group of
Is
people,
it?
you got to have at least 4, in my opinion. But as long as nobody's a prude and all that, it's so much fun. It's hilarious. It's a lot of fun. And you could buy extra cards later, like there's little
Yeah.
decks you can buy
There's
to
like
go with
expansion
it.
packs and
Yeah, yep, it's really cool.
And Kristen says her wedding anniversary is on Sunday and they're going to Graceland. Oh, wow. Have
oh
fun.
wow. I think
Happy
there's a
anniversary, my
controversy.
dear.
There's something going on with Graceland right now because I think Lisa Marie Presley got a loan for $3 million and put Graceland as a collateral, but there's some issue with the will and there's something going on with Graceland right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my brother's an Elvis fan. He loves Elvis, so
Oh,
he
okay.
would love to go to Graceland.
Let's see. Yes, Karen says that game is so funny. I've seen like some of the questions on like commercials, and they're kind of they're out there. Um, Rogue Remedies, the Melting Pot Tarot. Well, hello. You're new to my channel. It's good to see you. I was wondering what kind of herbs and spices would you incorporate into your food? Okay, I'm wondering. Oh, did I miss a food conversation going on? So somebody must be talking about food. So I'm not sure.
You always have to have oregano. Oregano goes great
Oregano.
with everything.
I love cooking chicken with cinnamon these days. Gives it a nice flavor to it.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, because he said Jeff said with Lisa Marie's daughter and Priscilla and stuff with her
Yeah.
death. So
Mm-hmm.
it's unfortunate. I think it's foreclosure. Oh, well, I'm not the biggest really fan of Elvis.
I don't
I know
follow
he did a lot
celebrities.
for music and stuff, but I mean, you know, I won't even get into there about how old, she was when he started dating her and marrying her and all that stuff. So that was kind of like, ugh.
There were different times too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hello,
it's
Rosanna.
and it was a different time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some companies claiming that, but the notary who's okay, so they're still all righty.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see, so we can get started. And Jeff says, yes, I love oregano, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Cumin for Beth. So now we're going into
Cumin, that's a
spices.
good
Now we're gonna start
choice.
talking about the Spice Girls pretty soon. I found out that Ramon Ginger was his favorite Spice Girl, whereas Posh was my favorite Spice Girl.
Yeah. I liked her. She was different. She was
Yeah,
like the one who stood out with the
yeah.
Union Jack dress and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Shan always liked Mel B, Scary Spice. So, and Allison's like, oh my god, what did I get myself into?
No, I didn't.
How did we get
even,
here?
I couldn't even
How did
tell
we
you
get
anything
here?
about Spice Girls. I don't know anything about Spice Girls.
I have a basil plant because I'm obsessed with tomato caprese. Ooh, that sounds good. So now Allison, how was Scout? Miss Tarot D would like to know.
He's good, thank you. He is. My son is home, and so he's usually with my son, like laying on the couch or whatever my son's doing. He's usually right there when he's home.
Yeah,
then I get ignored,
home.
which is fine.
Yeah. Well, he's like, oh, mommy, he's home. He's home. I got to spend all my time with him.
Scout's all about the boys. I mean, he'll take me, but he prefers like when Anthony's here or whatever. Yeah.
Alrighty. So, from spices, Spice Girls, Madonna to La Santa
Muerte. La Santa Muerte.
So
and she has a lot of names. You know, typically we know her as La Santa Muerte, but people call her also La Santísima Muerte, or La Niña Bonita, or La Blanca, the white one, because of the bones, or the bony lady.
Yeah.
And what is La Santa Muerte? La Santa Muerte is a deity or folk saint who is revered in Mexican folk religion. Right now, the devotion towards La Santa Muerte is one of the most growing spiritual beliefs, but is a folk saint. And what is a folk saint? A folk saint is a saint that is not officially recognized by the church. And they're called folk saints because they're saints for the folk, for the common person. And every culture, or most of the cultures, have folk saints that are not recognized by the church. And even here in the United States, there are folk saints, and like for example, Jean Marie Villars was a French American priest in Indiana. He died under mysterious ways, and he's a saint who people go to for financial problems, good health, fortune, finding lost things. We know about Marie
Jude.
Laveau. Marie Laveau is also a folk saint, and she was a
Oh, is
voodoo
she?
practitioner. Yeah, she's considered a folk
Oh.
saint. Of
Wasn't
course,
that
you
New
wouldn't.
Orleans based, or am I thinking of
Yes,
something else?
it's
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans based. Yeah, yeah. So a lot of folk saints are either country or regional based. The people follow them. And where did Santa Muerte originate? She's a syncretism of a old Aztec deity called. Then let me show you.
Here, let me put you on the big, because I know you probably got
Yeah,
pictures for us. Artwork.
Mictaquet, Mictaquetecatl. She's an Aztec god, an Aztec goddess. So she's a syncretism of this ancient deity and the Virgin of the Guadalupe.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Oh yeah, can you show both of those again really quick? The second one
Yes.
especially, because there's the robes.
Mictecacuatl.
And,
Here, I'm just going to do this so we can
Yeah.
see them. We're
Yep.
still here. Mm-hmm.
This is the deity, and
right,
of course, and La Guadalupe is a
right. They
virgin.
kind of blended them together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's something that I actually have an image of La Santa Muerte as the Virgin of the Guadalupe,
Yeah,
Mm.
and you see,
I've
still
seen
with
that.
the
See,
with the
that's hard
same
for me to
elements.
look at. And I know it's just for me a reaction, because I've grown up
Mm-hmm.
seeing Mother Mary, in the flesh.
Yeah.
Well, not in the
Mm-hmm.
flesh, but for me, it's just me.
Well, she's not in the
But I
flesh there.
Well, I know she's not, my dear. That's why I was like, I saw the skeleton, I was kind of like, ooh, but I totally understand. It's still beautiful. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cultural thing. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm not Mexican. I'm from Puerto Rico. But in Mexico, in Mexican culture, depictions of skeletons, skulls, it's so normal for them. They don't see it as a creepy imagery. And you see like in everyday folk art. For them, is something totally normal. And it's Mictecactuatl is the queen of the underworld, according to the Aztec beliefs. And when the Spanish came, they prohibited, like happened in a lot of different cultures, they prohibited the natives to adore these deities. So what they did is they blended their typical gods and goddesses and merged them the with Christianity. Do you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We see that, like for example, in Santeria. That's really common. So in Santeria, when the African slaves were imported from West Africa to the Caribbeans, they couldn't practice their religion,
Yeah.
and they started associating their gods with other Christian deities, like Shango, for example, is one of the Orishas. Uh, they named her Santa Barbara, and same thing with a lot of the different African divinities. So that was the case too with Santa Muerte. Um, at the time, they didn't call her Santa Muerte, but it was a fusion of Christianity with the old Aztecs belief of this deity. So she was considered the queen of the underworld, and she will guard over the bones of the deceased ones. And once a year, she would allow the spirits to go back to Earth and share with their family, which is a tradition which is still
Mm-hmm.
practiced today, called Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful celebration. I
It is.
And
I would
Samhain,
love. Yes.
taking tradition, the Celtic, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not on the 31st. It's on the November 2nd.
22nd, 2 days
because
after
we have the
Mhm.
31st. The first is Day of All Saints, and then the Day of the Dead
Mhm.
is November 2nd. And this deity was worshipped in all Mesoamerica. And we're talking about Mesoamerica. Mesoamerica is Central America. So that includes Mexico, Guatemala, what's nowadays Honduras, Nicaragua. And Santa Muerte is not just the only figure that is worshipped that has this iconography, right? There's other ones which I'll discuss further on, but if you do a Google search of Santa Muerte, you see most of the time what you see is the Grim Reaper. And
Yeah.
what makes La Santa Muerte a Santa Muerte? There's like certain iconography that is associated with her. She always has an owl, and the owl represents wisdom. She always has a lamp or scales because we're all subject to death, you know. She's always depicted with the planet Earth as well under her feet because she everything
Like Mother Mary.
in this
Mhm.
planet is under the influence of her in a way. She's not a sole deity, and you know what's interesting that a lot of people, most of the people who follow the devotion towards La Santa Muerte are Catholic, and uh, so it's not an entity of itself that people just worship. I'm not Catholic personally, but yeah. So typically that's the depiction we see. She looks like the Grim Reaper, but it's not. And I know for a lot of people it's imagery that's very hard to look at or to associate, but Santa Muerte is not about death. She's not a death reaper. She's not a soul reaper. She is a deity that people go to for protection, for guidance, for protection actually from death, because she's not just about death. And I know it's kind of like an idea hard to understand, but this is the best example that I can think of to try to associate it. Think about a police officer, right? You see a police officer, and you kind of like feel uncomfortable when you see a there's a policeman around you, right? And he has handcuffs, which restrict your liberty. He has a gun, which is a weapon to kill someone. You feel strange about around a police officer, but what does the police officer actually represent? It represents the opposite. He might have
Protect.
handcuffs, but it's a person who is there to reassure and assure your liberty. He has a weapon, but is a person that represents safety, and you feel uncomfortable, but it represents icon in society, a figure in society that's there for your peace. So even the depiction or the idea of a police officer, you feel or see, you feel in a certain way, it's the opposite. And it's the same case with La Santa Muerte. She's not there just to rip souls. It's for protection. And it's one of the most growing spiritual beliefs because it's a saint. It's an energy that acts very quick. You know, she's not there for. She's non-judgmental, if that makes any sense. All she asks is devotion, to be sincere with her, and loving. You know, and I'm telling you, I'm not. I'm a person who I don't practice necromancy. I don't practice the dark arts, black magic, uh, anything like that. I mean, I don't even or animal
Hmm.
sacrifice or anything like that. I'm even a vegetarian, you know. But I
I didn't know that.
it's
Okay.
yeah, I've been a vegetarian for 15 years, and I always seek positivity, the light, And this is an energy who's brought a lot of great things in my life, and from personal experience, I can tell that this is a force that acts really quick. Um, it's a lot of times people who are devoted, and she's not my only spiritual guide. In my pantheon, I have a lot of different ones, but she's one of them. And a lot of people, they experience that when they start getting closer towards La Santa Muerte, like you feel like she's calling you. You feel like there's a connection that starts when you start to learn about her. And I'm gonna tell you a personal story. Um, I love Halloween. Halloween is like my
So
favorite
is
time of
her.
the year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Oh, she loves. Oh, you see the
Yeah.
picture she shows of her bathroom even decorated for Halloween. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I love Halloween, and my partner too. For us, that's our Christmas, and we do a big party. So this one year, we did a horror theme party, and we bought this big skeleton, and we use it for the center table. We put hams and food around it. It was really creepy, and everybody loved it. So we put it in storage, and the next year it was gonna be Sugar Skull Day of the Dead theme. So we were bringing out ornaments and things that we could recycle. And we came across the skeleton. So we didn't know what to do about it. And out of the blue, I told my partner, we should put it in the balcony and do a Santa Muerte. Because I was watching a video on decoration. And he said, oh, that's a great idea. So we have a globe that by coincidence broke from its base, so we used it as at the bottom of the skeleton. We put a cloak, we we put the hourglass and everything. We put all the elements except the owl, and we said, well, we'll find an owl one of these days. Um,
Oh, I know where this is going.
well, well, I was on the balcony a few nights after that, and after watching La Santa Muerte, like a documentary of the Santa Muerte, I sort of like established a spiritual connection with it, and I said, if you're real, give me a signal. I want to know if you're trying to establish a connection with me. And could you believe that right after that, an owl came to my balcony?
I
And I live in the city. There's no
Oh,
owls.
wow. I'm getting
There's
I
shivers.
love that.
Yeah, there's no
Thank you
owls
for
here.
sharing
I,
that.
yeah, I think the most exotic thing that I ever seen has been an eagle. I live in Philadelphia. We have blue jaybirds but an owl, I never
Mhm.
seen one in person after that either. So that was a signal for me.
And
That
it
was
And
her
landed on
gift to
your
you.
balcony, Ramon?
uh
It landed on your balcony?
in the balcony, yeah, in the balcony. It
Love
it
that.
was that to me was a clear signal. And then
Oh,
from
yeah.
there, yeah, from there I started doing research and
Mhm.
learning about her. Because I had the same preconceived notions of what it was, of what how people see it. Just a skeleton lady. It's something dark, but it's a totally different force.
She's all about life to you, like my animal bones and stuff to George, like to George O'Keefe and myself. Animal bones, they're very lively. They're about life.
Hmm.
They're not. They're beautiful. It's nothing to. And so I totally understand where you're coming from for you and Allison with the human
Yeah, and
skull and skeleton.
and yeah, and a lot of people follow her in veneration. Like I said before, she's a non-judgmental uh, force that could be used for good or not.
Hmm.
Um, of course, if you use it in a negative way, there's karma that gets back to you, and that's something that's been clear for a lot of people. And a lot of people connect with her in help for spiritual guidance, but also spiritual matters. And uh, I'm very happy with the job that I have. And before I got that job, I made a connection with her and I told her, look, I want to change jobs, and this is how much I would like to make, and this type of job, and I got it. So she is a saint that responds, and she's really special to me.
You
You
can
know,
tell you're getting very emotional. It's showing.
yeah.
It's beautiful.
Hmm.
The deep
And it's a,
connection you have to her.
yeah, and it's not a dark force.
Mm-mm.
It's something totally the opposite. Um, and typically we see the depiction of her with the robe, and even for me it's a little bit hard sometimes to connect with it, so I have a different Santa Muerte, which I'm going to show you.
Ooh.
And I show you the picture a few days ago, right?
Yes, I was wondering if you were going to bring her.
Yes, and this is my personal Santa Muerte, and it's this lady who is half
Right.
skeleton here,
Oh
Hmm.
wow.
and she has all the elements. She has the scythe, she has the lamp
Her
over
lantern.
here. Um, where's the owl? The owl is right here. Earth right under it.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful figure, and
Yeah.
this is the one that I connect with. Of course, my decks they have the typical depiction of Santa Muerte, but um, I have in my sacred space, I have her, and I make my offerings, and I talk to her, and I have certain cards, certain decks that I use to connect with her, and I get really accurate insight and messages. Um, yeah,
Well,
and that.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just waiting for you when you're done, because since you started talking about her, I've been starring comments and questions for you, in regards to her. So just let me know when you've
Yeah.
shared what you've shared, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll and then
Yeah.
Allison, if there's anything you want to add before I, go ahead too.
I have a couple of things to say.
Okay.
But do you want me to talk first? Or you
Yeah,
had
go ahead.
questions?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to comment and say how I've read a little bit about her, not a lot.
Mm.
My interest was peaked last the end of summer last year. Um, and I had a couple books that I checked out of the library, and I read a little bit, and I realized pretty quickly um, some of the background and all of that, but I was amazed, and you've explained this already, but not amazed. I guess I was pleasantly surprised to find that with dedication, how much can be yielded from working with her. But it was my understanding, and you did say this briefly, but there is a dedication that is somewhat expected from her, um,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense. And also that she's she's not judgmental. She'll help you with
Mm-hmm.
whatever,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's good or bad, but you're going
Yeah.
to reap whatever consequences as a soul if you do something bad, but she'll help because she doesn't have any judgment.
Yeah.
It was the way
Mm-hmm.
I understood it, which I found
Mm-hmm.
that fascinating.
Yes.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and then I wanted to ask you, of course, um, so how, if you can, just in a brief little, like how, what does that look like for you, that there's a commitment? Like, do you just honor her on an altar? Do you communicate with her regularly? Do you just communicate through the cards? Like, what is that for you, as much as you feel comfortable sharing? Because I
Yeah.
understand it's a private
Mm-hmm.
relationship.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So whatever you feel comfortable sharing, honey.
It's with her, like with my other ones. It's it's a sincere connection. It's I talk to her. As in the mornings when I wake up, I go to my sacred space, and I ask for protection, for guidance, for not only for me, but for my family, for my coworkers, for even people that I don't know who might be under danger. I ask for protection.
Right.
I thank her for guiding me and being taking care of me, my family, my house up to this moment. And it's just sincere communication with her. She likes certain offerings. People say that they like to leave her like uh, bottles of tequila or sweets, music, poetry. It's just whatever you're cultivating that it's sincere, you know, and that's what she likes. Just sincerity. Which I think it'll be the same case with any dating. You know, um, it's just
Not willy
sincerity and
nilly in and
yeah,
out,
it's not a
no
ritual.
commitment.
It's
Right.
no, it's not a
Yeah.
ritual. It's especially in my case, and I think it's a personal experience. There's other there's many groups who follow Santa Muerte. There's even a temple of La Santa Muerte in Mexico.
I saw
And
that online.
2001, I think they said they created that somewhere in 2000,
yes, and it
2001.
it was from a lady who if whose son was killed, and she didn't used to believe in La Santa Muerte. She asked a petition to have the people who killed her son. She asked for justice,
Justice.
and the and after her, and she promised that she was gonna build a sanctuary for her, a
Right.
temple,
Mhm.
and the killers were brought to justice. And since then, she's been totally dedicated to that. This is a cult that's always happened since Aztec times with the fusion and everything, but it went underground. And
Right.
it wasn't
Me too.
until I
Yeah.
think it was 1940. Yeah, 1940. A lady put this gigantic Salta Huerta in front of her house, and that everybody came out, you know, acknowledging that it was part of their spiritual practice.
Their
You know,
heritage. Yeah.
And her
yes.
her property gets really crazy, like the whole Santa Muerte. So like November 2nd or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
like a big line
Mm-hmm.
and they wait, and yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
saw. So yeah.
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 And I want to reiterate, I'm not the type of person who deals with dark arts, black magic,
Mm-hmm.
necromancy,
Right. It's not him
Satanism,
at all.
nothing like that.
No.
Not that I judge it. That's everybody's
Right.
personal thing. I don't communicate with the dead, but it is a force that came to my life with clarity, and it's brought up a lot of positive things. And she doesn't ask anything in return. Just uh, love and devotion, like any saint will do.
Ramon, do you think she goes back even? Is she like not just even with, Mesoamerica, but do you think her energy even starts back further um
Yes.
to, when, I don't say humans first really started to connect with the earth and acknowledge the importance of life and death and basically because for me it almost feels like she has this very Inanna feel,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even older, or at
Yes.
least her sister, the trip to the underworld. And when you
Mm-hmm.
go to the underworld, you're stripped of everything. You go down to see your shadow, your dark self. The myth. She kills Inanna, but then she's reborn. And so for me, it's very ancient.
It
Um,
is. It is
I
that.
say ancient.
Yeah.
mhm.
I the way I see it is that that's just a representation of something bigger. There is uh, a bigger force, a bigger deity, and the representation of the Santa Muerte is um, a cultural way or iconography of expressing something that is much bigger, because um, uh, there are other cultures that have a similar character with different names. Um,
Mhm.
because it's not just La Santa Muerte, there's also San La Muerte, which is a sort of like a male counterpart of Santa Muerte, but
Mhm.
it's not her, but it acts in the same way. There's San Pascualito, which is another saint that is similarly represented. different origins, but also it embodies the same thing. And the same way different cultures have, their some type of deity that not necessarily is an evil one, but it
Mhm.
also represents that balance and that force. And
We're
the way,
immortal,
yes,
it's inevitable.
and look, the way I came to understand this, and this is another personal story that I'll share with you. I've never been a person of angels. Think like some people, they have angel oracle cards. They talk about angels.
Mhm.
I've never been a person to associate my beliefs with angels. Why? Because I came from an organized religion. So for me, angels always evokes religion or Abrahamic religions. But one
But they
day
don't belong to them though.
yeah, so it wasn't until recently that I started getting interest in angels. I think it was on Scott's channel, Scorpio Montero. Uh, he was it was a night that he was doing angel readings, and he said we all have an angel. It was just a matter of getting to know it and asking their name, and establishing a connection. If I'm not mistaken, it was Scott. It could have been some other channel. I don't know the first thing about angels or angel names or anything other than Michael. That's it, because I heard it mentioned before. But so I know that always had spiritual guides or forces protecting me. I've been in moments facing death that it just like something that can only be called divine could get me away from saving. So that I remember I was in the kitchen, and I heard that, and I said, "Who is my angel?" And without even knowing, the words that came from my mouth were Azrael. And I'd never heard that word before. So I Googled it. I said, is there even such a thing as an Azrael angel? So I looked it up, and it's an angel that it's also the angel of death, you know?
Yes.
Oh, Azrael. Is
Yeah,
that it?
Azrael.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Azrael. Hmm.
yeah. And
Love
Wow.
that.
I, yeah, and I'm telling you, I never like heard that name before. I didn't know what it stood for,
Hmm.
anything. And I started doing research, and in the same case, Azrael is not an angel that goes around ripping souls. He has a function, but he does more than that too. He's an angel who helps you with healing and loss in different ways, loss of loved ones, loss of, in situations. He helps you cut things that are negative in your life to be able to transition into something different. And I came to understand that this affinity, this love, this connection that the divine did with me, because it's something that came into my life, it's all part of something bigger, but it's expressed with different names, different symbolism. And I use it in a positive way to help myself, my loved ones go through life, to cut off anything that's negative, and protection, not only with my loved ones. I always, when I talk with, in my case, the Santa Muerte, or other divinities, I ask for protection of people around me that I don't even know, people who might be facing danger, even animals, and that's how I
The animals.
that's my personal experience with it.
So does she also connect with the animal realm, with
And
being
she
the
has
Santa Muerte?
influence
I mean, no
over,
owl, but helping
yeah,
animal souls. Yeah.
over anything that is affected by life and death.
Hey, Jay.
You know,
Mhm.
yeah, and I take it beyond even things that might not be animated. If you think of ideas are things that are born and die too. Time, it, it's a these are forces that, like I said, there we express it with imagery, names, and everything, but it's something bigger,
Mhm.
that it's like a current that surrounds the universe that we can tap into. like a tool, like a hammer, for example. A hammer is not going to ask you what are you going to use it for. You can use it for good, to construct, or you can use it to destroy. It's, and
Yeah,
like with
I love that. Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like with everything, it's free will,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you use it?
Free will to a degree.
Yeah, exactly.
Although me and free will have a little bit of an interesting relationship.
Mm.
Um, but exactly, and I have 18 comments slash questions. I just want to start going through really quick. This has just been so fascinating and it's been beautiful. Thank you so much for
Can I ask one
joining.
question and then I'll shut
Yeah,
up?
Okay.
any.
Ramon, I have two books on Santa Muerte, but I would love to know of all the books that are out there, and maybe you don't even do any of the books. Do you have any book that you would recommend, or like,
I
no?
I personally no, I personally don't, because there's there's groups who follow her, and they
Mhm.
take it to a ritualistic or dogmatic
Right,
uh, way of practicing, which is valid, especially people uh, who are Catholic. They want to
right.
maintain that sort of like, I don't know, maybe like spiritual format for them to do
Hmm.
rosaries and specific prayers and rituals. For me, it's just open and fluid.
Got it. So you
I
didn't
don't
do
want to
any
be.
kind of. Okay, all right. That's
Yeah,
what I was wondering.
there is a lot of books out there. There's a
Mhm.
lot of
I
books
have
that.
two, but I
Hmm.
was just curious, and I have enjoyed reading. I just was just curious if because I find all of it interesting, like what you shared and the history of it, and just like every aspect of it. I just find it very interesting, and yeah. So I was just
And I
wondering if.
learned a new
Well,
word today. I didn't know what I never heard the word folk scene.
Folk.
Folk scene.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you'll have to type so that I can that's a brand new word for
A
me and I
folk
didn't real.
saint. Folk
Oh, a
saint.
folk. Oh, a
Folk
folk. Okay,
saint.
folk
I
Yeah.
was
saint.
gonna say
F.
diversity. Okay.
It's
I'm
my
sure it's
Latino
when I heard it was like
accent,
a
I
folk
Yeah,
guess.
scene.
folk
I'm like,
thing.
oh, that's a new word. My bad.
Folk saint. Yeah. A
Okay,
saint of the folk, of the people.
my apo-
You know.
my
Of the Virgin.
apologies.
Yeah.
I've
No,
also
no.
there's you named some names for her. This one book that I have is calls her Our Lady of the Holy Death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there's a lot of different names and nicknames for
Yep.
her.
Yep.
Hmm.
And I had heard all the ones you referenced because one of the books covers. Anyways, it's just very interesting. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And not every saint that you see with a cloak, or any skeleton with a cloak, is Santa Muerte. There's
Right.
specific iconography,
Hmm.
even in art, and I brought some examples. I mentioned before of San Pascualito, and this
Yeah.
is a saint that kind of similar to Santa Muerte, but he's venerated more in Guatemala, which is actually close to Mexico. So culturally, they followed that same tradition of ancient Mesoamerican deities into their own way. He's not well known outside of Guatemala, but he is a saint as well. Um, there is San La Muerte, which I was mentioning before. And
Mm,
San La Muerte was actually a priest. He was a real
a
person.
real
He
priest.
is venerated in Argentina and Paraguay, and he was a monk when the Spanish came to South America. Uh, Among a lot of things that they brought were certain diseases. The immune system of the natives were not exposed to different bacterias and everything that came
Right.
from the old
Yeah.
world.
Same here.
And one of the things was leprosy, and a lot of these natives died from leprosy. So these religious orders, what they did, because they saw the natives as just labor,
Yeah.
they put them like it's in a isolated place to die.
Yeah.
And this monk, what he did was he started against the orders, against the orders of the group of the Jesuit group that he came from, he started taking care of them, and they incarcerated him. And while he was in jail, he went into a hunger strike, protesting against the treatment that the Indians were getting, the
Right.
natives.
Right.
So after the hunger strike, they like every day they will put like food under his door, and they started noticing that the plates were piling up. And one day when they opened the door, they saw him standing, but he was already a skeleton. He died,
Wow.
but he died standing with his staff in his hand.
Wow.
And yeah,
Defiant.
yes, and
Wow.
he became an icon for the natives of, you know, love, care, power, and uh,
That's
and
so
his
sad, but so beautiful.
yeah, right. His body disappeared, so they believe the natives, you know, it's rescue the body for veneration, but he became an icon, and it's called that. He's called that San La Muerte, and it's a similar energy devotion as Santa Muerte. A lot of people in South America who follow San La Muerte have a connection, or they try to merge those two pantheons of Santa Muerte and San La Muerte. Different energies, but you know, uh, yeah, that's another force
That's an
out there,
amazing story.
right?
I have,
Um,
oh, I'm sorry.
no, no, no. I just wanted to show last one. So we
Okay.
have La Catrina.
Oh, yes,
Yep.
I've
So
seen
someone
that.
asked about La Katrina
I've
in the
seen
comments.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
don't know what it is, though.
Yeah, La Catrina is sort of like a comical figure made by Posada. He was a Mexican artist,
Okay.
and she was like this society lady who was actually a skeleton lady.
I love that.
Uh huh. And you go to Mexico and you see like Katrinas everywhere. Not even,
Right.
and it doesn't have to be Halloween. Like year round. And my partner has a
Yes.
collection of different Katrinas. It's sort of like a
Aw.
skeleton Barbie, right?
Yes.
So when you see this image, it's a lady also, and
With the big
it's a
hat.
skeleton lady, but it's not Santa Muerte. You know? Yeah.
I just wanted to comment and say one thing, and then I'll be done. Is just that I've noticed that I don't want to say that part of the world, but all the areas you're talking about are, pretty close together.
Mm-hmm.
Death is not feared. It's very much accepted as part of life, is what it seems like. They talk about it. They experience it. They accept it. Whereas, like, over here, it's all this big woo, and it's all fear and scary and not embraced, and and you hush, hush, and you don't, and like if somebody's child dies, you don't talk about it, or it's very, you know what I mean, or different. All that. It's just, it seems to me, and I could be wrong, but there's a whole way different way of seeing it and accepting reality.
Yeah, I mean, it has a historical consequence because death, if we go back to the Middle Ages, uh, during Christian Europe, before the Black Plague, death was just a process of life, and you will die and you
Right.
will go to heaven, and that was it. But the Black Plague was such a traumatic experience
It
for
was.
Europe,
Oh wow.
for
Yeah.
the continent. It wasn't even like they didn't see themselves as Europeans. They were just different kingdoms, and but it was such a traumatic experience that stayed in the collective psyche,
Yeah.
and it came to, with the expansion, and we see that
Yep.
in art too. There's something called dance macabre, and I actually brought an illustration in which, it's the dead people try like in a comical way interacting with the
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 living.
living ones, and that's a common theme in European art. But it was the Black Plague that, caused that trauma that, got exported into different countries. I
And that
mean,
doesn't make sense. And then all of our
lose,
relatives have gone all over the place. And
yeah, and it is a traumatic experience to lose, a loved one.
oh, it is.
But you know, I mean, I'm from Puerto Rico, and we don't follow in Puerto Rico. Nobody follows La Santa Muerte, and
Oh,
they
really?
no, not really. No, that is a Central American, South American,
Okay.
especially Central American, um, deity. Expression of something bigger.
But she
But
is making her way up into North
yeah,
America
it's
and,
one of
into
the.
the
It's
West
actually
through the Day
yes,
of the
it's
Dead with the Halloween, with the sugar skulls and stuff. It's kind of appropriating. Some people say it's appropriation, but at the same time, though, you're introducing another concept that's showing people it's okay not to be afraid of death, and it's
yeah,
becoming more mainstream for her to be understood, revered, you know,
it's
and
part
not
of the
feared.
human experience, and
Mhm.
And that's what I
uh,
mean. It's I don't know. Like in my family, one of my cousins died very young, and nobody talked about him
mhm,
after that. It was
yeah,
like this taboo subject, and I always thought that was so weird. And I know other people that had in their family, and I get it, but it's like it's not even like it was behind closed doors. It just wasn't talked about. And
yeah,
it's just, but then I had other friends that had people somehow related to them in different cultures, whatever, and that's not how it was handled. And I just always thought, and it's not like it's just that's what happened in my family. I've seen this throughout my life in different families, and it's just, I don't know, we just handle it different here in America from what I've
Mhm.
seen. And obviously there's exceptions, and I'm not putting a blanket that we're all the same. It just doesn't seem as, I don't know, and it could just go back to what you were describing about, so many, it's such a melting pot here, right? And a lot of
mhm,
Europeans come over, and and the plague, and patterns start, and then they're just followed for
Mhm.
decades, and
Yeah.
yeah,
whatever. But
mhm.
I just wanted to point that out. It just seems more accepted, more recognized, more. I mean, even just the Day of the Dead and all
The
of
Day
that.
of
I
the
think that's
Dead.
awesome.
Yeah, because not everybody in Mexico or in Central America follows the Santa Muerte.
Yeah, but
It's
I'm
a
just like,
group, but the vision of death is different.
yes.
There's a cultural difference.
And if I could just, what I was going to say too is that the whole, I just remember reading about it, and I'm no expert, but how that whole, like, if you really follow it and you do the whole setting of the table and the inviting of the family over and recognizing, whoever's died within the past year, if I remember correctly, and or however many people you want to include, but it's like it's a recognition, acknowledgement that day of who's died.
Hmm.
And I think that that's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, totally, and it's your way to make connection, and you don't have to, I don't know, follow necessarily the Day of the Dead traditions, but
Sure.
I think we all do that in a way,
Mhm.
with our
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm giving a
deceased loved
reference,
ones,
but yeah.
that
Mhm.
we connect with them and they speak to us in different ways, nature's expressions, people who read for us.
Right.
We still do that connection with people who we love that are no longer here,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
I have
who
an
are
answer for all
spiritual
that.
guides too,
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, someday we will be the spiritual guides of other people who
Hmm. Yeah.
we leave behind.
Yeah. I told the universe that this life here, last of it. I want to be a spirit guide next time around. I'm done.
Yeah,
No more.
I don't know. I don't want
Um,
to be a human anymore after that.
so we are at 9, but I want to just really catch up on some comments and questions. Kristen Louise, she was originally the patron saint of sex workers, wasn't she? Or am I thinking of someone
Oh no,
else?
that's something I want to clarify too. A lot of people
Okay.
associate the imagery of Santa Muerte with cartels, sex workers, and
Mm-hmm.
no, she's not just the patron of these groups. The thing is, when these people who've committed like a certain acts against the law, they they notice that some of the, besides Jesus or the Virgin Mary, also La Santa Muerte has been present, and it's something that they started associating Santa Muerte with these groups. But like nobody questions if there's a cartel, a personal criminal with a Jesus. You wouldn't they don't associate Jesus with cartels, right?
Right.
But because it was such a shocking figure, they started to uh, associate Santa Muerte with criminals. But the devotion is it's a much bigger group.
And Beth said Ramon. They did the okay. This is going way in the beginning when we first started talking, but you mentioned that they did that in Louisiana, in Brazil too. Candomblé,
Hmm.
Candomblé,
Hmm.
Santeria blended with Catholicism. I can't remember what
Yeah,
you were talking
that
about.
we
Yeah.
were talking about religious syncretism, and
Okay.
it's when you blend, or there's a blend of two different belief systems into something new.
Like voodoo with the Catholic saints and
Yeah,
the
like with Santeria, with the
right,
orishas
orishas. Yeah.
of the slaves that came from Africa, the
Mm-hmm.
Yoruba groups, with Catholicism. So you ask someone who practices, it's Santa Muerte has nothing to do with Santeria. I don't practice Santeria either. Like it's a different religious
Mm-hmm.
practice. But it was a syncretism with some of the saints like Santa Barbara, uh, even the Archangel Michael. There is a Orisha that is associated with it. And when they see Santa Barbara, they don't see Santa Barbara necessarily. They see Shango, which is one of the Orishas. And we see that with art too. Like colonial art is a mixture of like typical styles of the place with imported ones. So yeah.
And Maruta says, I think a skeletal deity makes it more accessible. Everyone has bones, no matter what they look like
Yes,
on the outside.
and that is a good point too. That I I
And you've
I
mentioned that
wanted,
before.
and
Mm-hmm.
I yeah. Well, I wanted to mention this. Like there's people who might not connect with a blonde Jesus or a white Virgin Mary. That's why there's black Jesuses or black Virgin Marys or even different representations, right? Um, in the case of La Santa Muerte, she's it comes back to a thought that I share a lot of times. When I see a skeleton, I don't see race, I don't see gender, I don't see social status. I just see equality. Because deep down in this physical plane, that's what we are, and I connect better with that type of depictions most of the time than specific anatomical ones.
And Miss
And
Tarot. Oh, I'm sorry.
no,
Oh, I
that's
thought
it.
you were finishing your thought.
No.
Miss Tarot D said, well, about fun fact, but many Latin gang members tattoo the Virgin Mary or icons of the Virgin, like Santa Muerte, excuse me, on their backs to prevent people from stabbing them in the back because it's a curse to stab the Virgin. So that
Hmm.
was something that Miss Tarot D wanted to share. Um,
Interesting.
and Moira says, in death we find life. And David says, seems similar to Memento Mori in Latin,
Memento
more
mori.
widely known in Europe. Yes. And
Memento
Moira
mori.
wanted to know, is
Remember,
there
you will
a
die.
correlation? Oh, sorry, honey. Go ahead.
No, memento mori. Remember
Oh,
that
go ahead.
you will die.
Yeah.
We will all go through that process,
Yeah. That
unless
was
you're
the last.
Enoch, who apparently got taken away in a chariot of fire.
Yeah. I think it was a spaceship, but I digress. That's for
I do
another
too.
show.
I do too. I
um,
definitely do, because if you think about it, how people back then will be able to describe what a spacecraft would be. You know,
mm-hmm.
I mean, and not even that far. Look, I was at work recently, and I was talking to this girl, and she's 18 years old, and I was trying to explain to her what a cassette is. And she, like,
Yeah, oh
for
my
for the life
God.
of her, she couldn't grasp the concept of music that you had to play and rewind and fast forward. And I was trying to say, okay, it's like an iPhone but smaller, and it has this strip which is magnetic, and there's music there, and
Oh
and
my
not,
God.
and then I attempted to explain what an 8 track was.
Oh,
So I mean,
for punishment on that one, let me tell you.
so just imagine I bring my great grandmother from the past right now. How would she describe what the internet is? You know, what is like this
Yeah.
atmosphere of magic and knowledge. How can you
Yeah.
share a photo instantly with someone at the other part of the world? She will try to explain it in her own terms, something miraculous,
Right.
Yeah.
uh, something spiritual. So it's the same case, in my view, with a lot of these stories in the Bible. And I hope I'm not offending anyone. I'm just
Oh
trying to
no.
see it from a different perspective.
Yeah, all
I
different
say
perspectives. Yes.
these are things that actually happen, but the way they're described might not be what we attribute it to be. Like
Yeah.
when the people of Israel were walking in the desert, and there was a column of fire who will walk with them at day and at night. What is that? Or when the glory, some of the descriptions, the glory of God will pose on some of the mountains, and there was thunder and noise, and you know
Mm-hmm.
I believe
Yeah.
that from our perspective in hindsight, it could be a spaceship, but that's the way
Exactly.
they could describe it.
Chariots. And
You know,
Moira wanted to know: is there a correlation between Santa Muerte and the Black Madonna?
no, not necessarily, because no, not
I didn't
really.
think so, but I wanted you to answer
No,
that because it was directed to you. Yeah.
yeah, because like the Virgin Mary, there's different expressions in different countries with different names. There's the Italian Madonna. There's the Virgen of Caridad del Cobre in Cuba. There's the Guadalupe in Mexico. There's like the same figure with different names, different aspects, but they're all part of the same thing. The Santa Muerte
Right.
is different.
Like that whole Guadalupe thing.
Yeah, the Guadalupe is
That's
the
the
Virgin.
Virgin Mary. Just
Yeah, it's the Virgin Mary, but it's
yeah.
a name they gave her with different
Yeah.
attributes,
Yeah.
which are
Yeah.
like a small part of something bigger.
So that they were allowed to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they made it relatable or whatever for
Yeah.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Accessible. And Miss Tarot D says it's all beautiful. It's just that we have been brainwashed to believe that skeletons are evil.
Exactly. Exactly. Like there's this whole thing about skeletons, and I'm like, no.
They
protest.
are beautiful.
No.
I mean, it's like the foundation
Ridiculous.
of
We all
our
have a
physical
skeleton.
body.
It's like
Exactly.
it's so
Yeah.
ridiculous.
You walk with a skeleton with you
Yeah.
at all times.
Mm-hmm.
You would be
And-
useless without a skeleton.
It's like a blob
Flop,
or something.
flop,
It's the one
flop,
thing
yeah.
that remains after all the. It's just, yeah, it's
Yeah.
so silly.
Mhm.
It really is.
Yeah.
And Maruta said in Latvia's original beliefs, we have the goddess Mara. She brings you into the world and she takes you out. Yep. How our
Yeah.
mothers used to claim that when we were younger. I put you into this world and I can take you out of
Yeah.
it. And
Well,
Jonathan said, I've been connected with the angels my whole life, but I haven't been as comfortable working with them because of their Abrahamic connections. When I know now that they're older than those women. When I
Yeah.
know now they're older than those religions. Sorry, Jonathan.
and I completely agree.
And Kristen agreed. And Isadora was mentioning spirit guides protected her from a car accident. Let's see. And Beth had shared, and I think this might be the last one, though I think mine's frozen here a little bit. The Black Plague also killed off the learned clergy. They were the scholars. When they gave last rites, they would die. The vacuum of clergy was filled by uneducated and more power ambitious men. Wow. That I did not know. So I'm learning a lot of new things. I'll probably have to replay this back again later. And so, boy, chat's been jumping.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, she was okay. Jeff's being Jeff. Let's see. The slaves brought from the African continent and the Caribbean had to disguise their polytheistic religions using saints in front of their owners. Yes.
Exactly.
I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I've known that for a long time. Ramon, you are like an encyclopedia. How do you remember all of this?
Just from reading, personal practice. It's, and I'm happy
Genuine
to share
interest, you can retain a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have really bad memory. My partner
You
is
don't.
always, I just
Oh,
told you that.
oh
You
yeah.
just forgot. I don't think you have
Look,
a bad
Allison and
memory.
I.
You're
She's like,
not
But like
paying
I
I
attention.
said,
told you
and it
that.
doesn't mean I'm right, but like I've noticed with me, if it's something I'm truly interested in, I retain it.
Yeah. Hmm.
If it's important to me, not that, certain things that I may not remember aren't important, like if it's connected to a loved one or whatever, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah,
If-
totally.
What?
yeah,
Totally.
if it grabs your interest and yeah, you're going to retain it.
Hmm. Definitely.
And
Yep.
if
So
Carol
there.
just says, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just want to like show some decks that I have related to Santa
Oh,
Muerte, but
okay. Let me. There we go.
What? Come here.
so I think let me put my glasses on. Just 1 second. Um, I think we all know the Santa Muerte deck from Fabio Listrani. It's a beautiful deck. Um, it's it's in my I use it a lot. It in my opinion it makes like the imagery of La Santa Muerte more palatable because it's more kind of like Day of the Dead themed. The colors are beautiful, and
I would
I
agree.
use right.
Yeah.
Colors are beautiful, and there's a lot of depictions not just of like human skeletons but also animals. It's a beautiful deck if you get the opportunity of acquiring one. The art
Can
is
can you show a couple
exquisite.
more? Oh, thank you. And I
Yeah.
love how they did the border on those.
Hmm.
Let me see if I
The
can put
back
this on the
is.
bigger screen.
No, on the
So,
other side, the actual border, how it's just like
Hmm.
it's there, but at the bottom, but it's not on the top. I just think that that's kind of
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
really
different.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's cool because it's bordered and borderless at the same time.
exactly.
It looks like an insert to something
Yes,
else,
looks like
right?
it's inside of like a sleeve or something.
yeah, like a little car holder. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh-huh. And it's a beautiful deck.
it's
And
gorgeous.
Oh, that's
yeah,
pretty.
yeah, I connect
The
a
colors.
lot with it, but it's not just Santa Muerte. It has a lot of other motifs. Day of the Dead, Katrina-ish. Beautiful. It's beautiful.
I think the major arcana in that deck are gorgeous, and I agree. I love that deck. For anybody interested, I have the pocket size, and I highly recommend the full size that Ramon has. The
Yeah.
pocket size is not nearly as beautiful, and there's borders, like a full border. It's just
Mhm.
Allison, did you have any that you wanted to share from your deck that were your favorites?
no.
Even
I
if it's
just
from the big
I
screen? Okay.
no, it's fine. Like I said, Ramon's deck, it's the full size is much prettier, in my opinion, and also the pocket size is tiny, 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 tiny. It's not even
Yeah.
pocket size, but
Yeah.
I'll shut up
So
now.
now Fabio Listrani has also a Santa Muerte Oracle, and it's a beautiful deck as well. The only difference is that this deck, and I was showing Allison earlier, doesn't have keywords. It's more of a deck to meditate on the images. Like this one, for example. Same style,
Okay.
very colorful, but
Oh wow,
it's a deck that you can meditate on, um,
I like that.
scry on, even.
I could do that with my artwork. Very cool.
It's exquisite.
Very different feel, like
Mhm.
very,
Yeah.
very.
Now, does he
Mhm.
include a booklet in there that he gives
It
his
does.
impressions? Okay.
Yes, it does.
But he initially leaves it for you. Okay.
Hmm.
To connect with. Oh wow.
That one's really
Yeah.
cool that you just showed. I really
Look
like
at
that.
this cute one.
Oh, see that now that feels like the tarot.
Yeah.
It's the
Has
same
that tarot
character
feel. Uh-huh.
from
But
the
maybe even like Katrina-ish, like
yeah.
Katrina-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like, I don't know, or even like an X-ray of a family,
Right.
Look how beautiful. Kind of reminds me of Frida too.
Yes, and
Yeah,
all
I
the
was just
people,
going to say Frida Kahlo.
all
Hmm.
the characters I'm going to say that are depicted in that tarot deck remind me very much, Ramon, about what you were saying with the whole Katrina thing, because they're in
Hmm.
clothes, they're in
Yeah.
outfits.
Look at this one. This is a powerful image.
Okay, let
Beautiful
me get you back
too.
up there.
Yep,
Almost like
that's
Wonder
gorgeous.
Woman. Yeah.
And there's 3 different people in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Dev says he's going to order both, and Jonathan says that's different and lovely.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Now, these are the ones that commercially you find around that are related to Santa Muerte, and they're beautiful. Santa Muerte in the name and some of the styles, but there's other ones out there that are with the typical imagery of what you will think of Santa Muerte. Like this one, for example, this is called Tarot de la Santa Muerte. It's in Spanish, and it's made in Mexico. So this one has all 78 cards of the tarot, and it has 2 extra ones. So it's kind of like tarot and oracle at the same time, and on each one of them, El Loco, El Mago, the magician.
That's how to learn Spanish,
right?
Get that deck and just practice that way. Wow.
La Sacerdotisa, or the High Priestess.
Beautiful. High Priestess is my favorite.
La Emperatriz.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. And let me see if I can find it. This is what I like the most. So after, let's see, when you get to the world,
I have that one.
You have this one?
Deck. I believe so.
Yeah. So you have Judgment, and this is the cool part. So it has the world here called El Mundo. But then you have the other world, also card 21.
So that's the
that's like the underworld, right?
It's like an alternate the world,
so
but
the extra cards.
Yeah, the other world, and then you have the Beyond.
Okay.
Also card 21, and up here, you might not be able to see it well, but there's like a pantheon of all different deities.
Oh well, there's like
you
Thor,
see Anubis. You see Anubis.
And I'm sorry, Ramon, are you saying that all 3 of those cards are number 21?
They are 21.
Okay, interesting.
The world.
Right,
the world.
Which is always 21, but so are the other 2.
The other world and the Beyond.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Different interpretations.
And then the Ace of Cups.
Oops.
So it all has like different meanings. So some of the ones like on the minor are kind of like the 2 of Cups. Here it gives you like some keywords like couple and attraction. Or the 3 of Cups, alegría, fiesta, and there she is.
Mm-hmm.
You're inspiring a lot of people in chat to go get these decks now, Ramon.
You're not going to get that deck.
Yeah, so there's that one, Santa Muerte, and then I have another version of it that has also keywords. This one's also made in Mexico, but this is actually Fabio Listrani's image that they put on this box.
Wow.
Yeah, but this one is exactly. Let me see if I can get it out. These boxes are like
super snug.
Yeah, totally.
Box
here it is. So it's the same deck with the same artwork, but it has keywords at the bottom. Of course, you will have to know Spanish, but the Ace of Wands, and it tells you like upright, what does it mean, and reversed.
What's it say? Invertida? Is that how you say?
Invertida, reversed.
Right.
So you have the 5 of Cups here, and it's kind of like it follows the tarot, but it's also like an oracle at the same time with like different images, but sort of like the same idea.
Okay.
So it gives you the 5 of Cups here as sadness and loss, which in the Rider-Waite is that figure that has like cups in front of him and behind, which are spilled at the front. So he's focused most on the sad part. But here's like this guy drowning.
Yeah.
And then it gives you the keywords of like loss, anguish, possibility of being affected, etc. in reverse.
I like keywords because there's so much information with these cards. I need that a little help on some days. Like, what's this again? So keywords are always very helpful.
Yeah, so I have this other one, which is also tarot, but it's based on Marseille-ish. It's it's not exactly Marseille. There's a style of playing cards that is used in Latin America that is kind of like the equivalent of the French playing cards, but it's called briscas, and it has like a specific style that there's an Italian counterpart too. So this one, like the Ace of Cups, it shows you there the Santa Muerte. There's some glare. It shows you like the Santa Muerte, and also with words upright and reverse
Okay.
for all the cups.
Copa.
Yeah,
Esto está
copas.
aquí. Copas.
Yeah, copas cups. And then there's this one, which is like my favorite. This one's made in Russia.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So there's
Did you
followers
get
around
these
the world.
traveling?
This one, no, not this Russian one. I got this one, which is the same one,
On
but a
vacation?
Spanish.
Oh.
Yeah, a
Oops.
Spanish
Sorry.
version. I got this one in Spain,
Okay. Very
Well,
cool.
Ramon
um,
does travel the world.
and this one has
Pretty cool.
La Santa Muerte with different keywords, both in Spanish
Oh, that
and
was
That's
English,
beautiful.
like esfuerzo and effort. Because La Santa Muerte, people who have figures of her, she comes in different colors, and depending on the color is for a petition. So there's like a yellow Santa Muerte for wealth, or the purple one if you want to focus on spirituality. So
Right.
this one gives you keywords for each one of the
That
cards
got
with a
cool.
depiction of Santa
The,
Muerte.
the color is just so
Which,
saturated and vibrant.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, is that the one you said you got in Spain?
Yes, which is like the Spanish version of this Russian one. I found this one
Wow.
first, and I bought it because I really liked it. I
Got
found
it.
it online. It's out of print, but then I
Okay.
found this one, and I had to get it.
You're just
That's
showing us
beautiful.
all the cool decks that you have that none of us can get, right?
Oh, you can't.
I'm
Rubbing it
just,
in, going,
Well,
they're
well, this
beautiful.
one,
I'm just teasing you.
yeah.
this one you can find on eBay, the Russian version, but I don't think you can
Oh,
even
okay.
read Cyrillic.
Right.
But it's obscenely expensive because it's out of print. It's like over
Right. Right.
$100. This one
Oh
I
yeah.
haven't found anywhere. I
That
just
is
found this at a
gorgeous. I
store.
It
love
is.
that.
Yeah,
Does that
and
have
the
a box?
backs.
Oh,
Yeah, the
wow.
box. I don't have the box with me, but the box is just like this one,
Right.
but
So,
in
Ramon, are those all
bilingual.
78 card decks?
This one, no, this one's an oracle. Well, the tarot ones, yeah, but this is not a tarot deck. This is an
That's
oracle.
well, right. That, and I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Okay, so
yeah,
that's and it looks skinnier. So there's less
yeah.
cards. Okay.
Yes. So this one has like 32, I think,
Oh, okay.
34. So there's like
Okay.
a yes, a
That
C,
one's gorgeous. That's beautiful.
right?
Oh my
The ones
God.
you've shown, it's very pretty.
This deck you're
Yeah,
showing now, oh, I would love to get my
I
hands on
know.
that,
I
but
would
if
like
it's
it
out of
too,
print
actually.
now,
Like, I haven't
yeah,
even seen half of them, and I'm like, yeah, I want that. I
yeah.
don't
It's
usually do
beautiful,
that.
and this one I use on a daily basis.
Wow.
Yeah, I do a pull in the morning. I talk to her and I ask,
Oh,
how's my day gonna go? What's the energy of the day? And I pull, and it's always amazing the answers that I get.
so is that the main deck that you use with her?
This one, yes,
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
If I want to go deeper, I use one of the tarot decks. For
Okay.
like for a quick shuffle, morning shuffle after I
Mm-hmm.
get ready and ready to go to work, I use
Yeah.
this one.
so
Yeah.
that
It's
one is
cool.
out of print,
Thank you.
right?
This I mean this one I haven't found. This
Okay.
one is out of print, but you can find it on eBay. But
I know, but
it's
I
in
like that other
Russian.
one that you're showing.
This
I
one.
love that.
Let me see if I could get my hands on it for you.
Oh,
It's
I'm good
so
at finding
beautiful.
stuff online.
but yeah, if you find anything, but is it going to be, for a while for me to be able to
Yeah,
indulge
yeah.
in some more decks?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
that's
and then
beautiful.
I have other tools and this one you saw on
Oh,
the
wait, put your back up.
this is a pendulum that I made, and I showed this one on the Divine
The
Design
design
show
with
that
me,
we
yeah.
did. Yeah, so it's a key
It's got
with a skeleton face,
Cute.
and yeah, so this
a
one,
real
this
skeleton.
part represents the sun, earth, and the underworld.
Very cool.
Aw.
Yeah, so it's a pendulum that I have. This is a coin that I bought. I love this coin. It's a yes or no coin. It has yes and no on the back.
Oh wow, and it's a
Very
skeleton. Wow.
Yeah. And then I have a set of runes that I made, um, Elder Futhark runes. It's a set of 50 because Elder Futhark is 24 and the blank ones. So I have, like, for example, a dark one and a golden one.
Oh, they're little skulls.
They're little skulls,
Oh my
you know.
You're
god.
And
so
they could,
crafty.
yeah, they could be for
Oh, Ramon,
positive.
those are so stinking cute. Oh my
And I
god,
have,
I love that.
thank you. And I
Wow,
have them
that's
in this
so cool.
box. Yeah, I have them in
Oh, and
this
look at the
box.
box. Oh, wow.
And I have those runes in here.
That is
Yeah.
so cool. I love that.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
very
What are those
creative.
little skulls made out of?
It's hard plastic. I
Is
actually
it?
got them. Yeah, I got them on Michael's like 2 years ago, and they were just
Really?
white.
Are they
Yeah, glow it.
beads? I'm
Huh?
sorry.
No,
Are
no,
there
they're not
beads?
beads. They're not beads. They're like used like for party flavors, party favors, but they're like really hard. They're very dense plastic, and I just
Wow.
inscribe each one of the
Did
Oh,
you
25 rooms. Yeah.
did you paint those?
Yes, I did.
Paint them?
Yes, I spray painted. It's
I
like
know what you've got. I have those, but they're just they're still the original, just the skulls.
oh yeah.
Time to
That'd be a
get some
great
craft
idea.
paint and
I might have a few around that are not painted, but
Yeah, those are gorgeous. Good
yeah,
job.
Beth's like, those are so cool.
thank
Aaron
you.
loves them. Yep.
Yeah. And then I have dice also.
Oh wait, there's more.
There's more. I'll show you just a curated selection. I have dice. I got these dice that are
Oh
My God, Ramon, you're killing
that's
me tonight.
adorable.
right.
It's like,
I love that. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
so
fun.
Yeah, these dice I painted them in different colors. So each one of them means something different. So like
Right.
blue are for things related with, intuition or emotions. I have yellow for air, green for earth, um,
Those are so cute.
and
purple
Miss Tarot
for
B's right. You need to open up
spirituality.
your own store, Ramon.
I
I keep
don't know.
telling
Good.
him he can open up his own store and make these wonderful goodies, and I'll buy them.
I have lots
Thank
of
you.
skulls, but I didn't make any of mine. I'm envious, and I'm crafty too. You're inspiring me.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Jonathan
Yeah,
says he's
I've
gonna
got
have
a
to give
ton of
himself so
skulls,
many
but I didn't
skulls.
make any of them. I just
you
bought
can make
them
so
all.
many things with them.
Yes.
I like
And
making
it's
my own
sculpting.
divination tools.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's awesome. The dice
And
are
that's
dope.
all.
I like those,
Mm,
and your little runes. So cute.
thank you.
Love it.
And that's my practice with Santa Muerte. It's nothing dark. It's nothing negative. It's
No,
it's
not at all.
something that
No.
it's a force that is a positive one, and I
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge, and I wanted to share with everyone today.
And I have a
Um,
new insight and appreciation, so thank you.
Thank you, thank you for the opportunity of sharing it.
Yeah.
And Beth
you.
says, Allison, if you are loving these, wait until Halloween when Ramon does a video of his
Oh.
incredibly decoration.
Yes,
We
I would
go-
love to see that. I would love
we
to
go
see that.
all out.
I love Halloween too. I used to do it up big time years ago, and I've kind of pulled back a little bit. But I always love seeing what other
Road
people
trip
do,
to
and yeah, I would-
Ramon's this
You're invited to my party.
Yeah,
Last
I would
year-
love to see.
Last year the theme was witches and vampires, and I was a disco vampire.
Nice.
I was a vampire, and I had an afro, yellow eye contacts. I had golden grills. I had like this bat, like a chain with a bat in gold. The
That's-
Oh
clothing
my
was
God.
like, it was so much fun, and we go
Yeah.
all out. And we do most of the stuff like handmade. And this year we did a coffin. My partner made a coffin,
That's
and we had
awesome.
in the center of the table a gigantic one, like human size, life size, with food and different like things to
That's
eat.
so
Cool.
creative. I love
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
I have a video on my channel
Yeah, I'll
Of it.
check it
of
out.
it?
That's
my
Yeah.
God.
cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
of that one. Yeah, but yeah, we don't know what we're gonna do this year.
Miss Carol D said, "What a great show tonight! Educational and craft inspiring." Yes,
I
you're
know. You're going to make me go
Inspiring a lot
find
of
those
us.
little skulls and dig them out. trying to think where they are.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was Michael's. Yeah, Michael's.
Yeah, I
It
got
was
them at
Michael's.
Michael's.
Uh
Yep,
huh.
yep.
And Jonathan says, my neighborhood goes off for Halloween. I think we had 700 to 800 kids come through last year. Yeah.
Wow, that's huge. Years and years ago when I was married, we had a neighborhood and we got like 300 kids, and that was a lot.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's very cool. That's crazy. 7, 8, is it? Wow,
I have a Halloween story.
that's insane.
It was on. It was on. I thought it was with you that I shared it. It was actually with Ginger. Last Halloween, I always heard these stories of like ghostly stuff or things that happen in Halloween. And I've heard that Halloween Day. It's the veil of. Did I freeze?
I think you did.
I think I
Oh,
did.
we can hear you though, honey.
Yeah.
Let me reconnect. I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Ramon was just on Ginger's channel. He lives in the home that he shares with his partner is haunted, and they did a paranormal, and they
Oh,
did readings on his place.
Ramon's
Mhm.
place is haunted?
Yeah,
Wow, that's so cool.
yeah. He did a show a couple of weeks ago with Ginger. They brought on I think it was just the both of them. I can't remember if they had a guest.
On Ramon's channel or
On Ginger's
on
channel,
Ginger's
but he
channel?
might have
Okay.
done a simulcast. But yeah, they think there might have been a girl because Ramon actually found out that he lives in 3 areas. Not 3 areas. He lives within like 3 cemeteries. He all thought it was
Oh,
just
wait a
one,
minute. You know what? I
and it
started
was actually
watching
3.
some of that and then had to go away. Actually, I wasn't watching it. I could hear it in the other room and then I never ended up going back to it. I did hear a snippet of that. I need to go back and watch that. Yeah. Burial ground, right?
Yeah, there's like 3 of them. 3
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
cemeteries
yeah.
or something like. No, burial
Wow.
ground might have been for the one in New Hampshire that because he read for a couple people that have a home that's haunted in New Hampshire. Peter and Carolyn Booker joined for that episode, but the one before that, he did the house that him and his partner live in.
Okay. So is
It's
that
like
on
3
his?
floors.
Actually, we can ask him when he comes back. Is that on
Yeah.
his channel or on Ginger's channel?
I know it was broadcasted from Ginger's, but it might be simulcast. He might have it on his channel as well. So
Yeah, I need to go back and watch some of his videos.
he's going to join me next month for the black monk of Pontefract in England. The black monk house. Excuse me. I can't talk tonight, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know what a lot of things are though.
There he is. He's back.
I'm back.
He's back.
There we go.
Yeah. So last Halloween last year we celebrated, I think it was on the 28th or the 29th because it was a Saturday. So Halloween Day was like a Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it was just a normal day. My partner and I, we came from work. We have some candies left over from the party, ready by the entrance in a big pumpkin to give out the kids when they were trick or treating. So I have an Alexa that's connected with cameras and sensors around my household, and a ring. So when there's someone in front of the door or movement, Alexa will notify me.
Oh, I see where this
Right.
is
And
going.
so we'll get notifications all the time, and the kids will ring the bell, and we would just
Right.
open and get in the candy. So I was in the kitchen preparing food for the next day, and I was looking at the monitor, and my partner, we were he was in the living room, right? And at one point, I was looking at the monitor, and we heard the bell ring, and there was no one. As I was looking at the monitor, there was no one right there in front of the door. Did I freeze again?
Mm-mm.
Oh no.
No,
There was no one at the door,
so
so
that's pretty.
yeah.
That's pretty. I love the effects.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it was my partner who came in, and now I'm at the basement. So we got a notification from Alexa saying someone's at the front door, and the bell rung, and I was looking at the monitor at the moment, and he's my partner said there's someone at the front door, and I said there's no one at the front door. I'm actually looking at the monitor. And he said there has to be someone because Alexa said there was movement and the bell rung. Like you physically have to ring the bell. And I said, I'm telling you, I'm looking at the
Ooh.
monitor right now. There's no one. And he stood and we were looking both at the same time at the monitor. And as we were looking, the bell rung again. And like we were like completely like freaked out, like what's going on? I
And
even
you
went
didn't see a
outside. He said, "Be
mist or
careful."
anything?
There was
Yeah,
nothing. No, no.
nothing. No
We
mist,
looked
no
at the
nothing.
footage and everything, but the bell rung twice and it registered movement, but there was no one there.
Oh, it did
It was
register
a
movement.
and it registered moving, yeah, because Alexa notified there was someone at the front door, and the ring bell went
Just
on,
physically.
but there was
Yeah.
no one ringing the bell. It, yeah. So I realized, yeah, it is
No
true.
one.
You know.
Yeah. No one. You can see. I was when you were coming back. I was telling Allison that you and Ginger did a reading recently on your home, and because of spirit activity,
Yeah.
paranormal activity
Was
in
Mm-hmm.
your
that on
place.
your
So
channel or on Ginger's?
It was on Ginger's channel. It was
Okay.
on Ginger's
okay.
channel. And I'm the type of person I don't go straight for the paranormal. I always try to find the logical
Right.
explanation to everything.
First. Yeah.
You know, if and my partner's the same way. He's a person who's not interested in the paranormal at all. He's not interested in
I knew
tarot
you were going to
or
say that.
anything like that. But yeah, but for him to like experience that at that moment, like it
Yeah.
wasn't just me. There was someone there with me,
That's probably part of the reason it
and
happened.
he's yeah. There's movements and things happening in the house that he has heard also, like the steps
Yeah.
of a child running on the third floor, and he works
Oh,
from home and
okay.
he hears all the time, but he's never been able to explain what it is.
Explain
So
it.
we did a show on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
was pretty cool.
So does it sound like little footsteps?
Yes, it does because the steps are like very quick, like dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun.
I
So
know
it
what it
sounds
sounds
like a
like when a
toddler.
child's running. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So it's
How
That's
exactly
cute.
that. And yeah, some other things that happened. So we did a show on it, a reading,
hmm
and it was really interesting the things that we uncovered. One of the things that I wanted to know too was if it was because my house is in between three cemeteries. So I wanted to inquire if it was a spirit that inhabits the house or just transiting, because
Right.
there's like these
Yeah. It
energetic
could be either
grounds
one.
around
Yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
What'd you
Go to
find out?
Ginger's channel.
I
I
mean, I'll
think it's on.
watch it, but
Yeah, yeah. It's on my playlist too. I have it under my playlist as I think it's called guests, like guests of channels that I've been to, and
mm-hmm.
the videos there. Go to her channel. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. She's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, I am, and I will, but I just don't
Yeah,
watch a lot. I don't have a lot of time to watch YouTube right now.
yeah.
But
I hear you.
I
I'm the
will
same
go
way.
if I know something specific, and I'll make sure that I see it really quickly. And I'm sure that's on there. Do you have regular activity with this child in your home?
I'm sorry.
Is there regular activity in your home with this child?
Yes, yes, and
Just
it's we've been
footsteps?
living in this house for
And
yes,
I'm sorry.
footsteps, shadows,
Oh,
different types. Yeah,
little
manifestations of
Yeah.
things
shadows.
on one place and then on
Yeah.
another.
Allison and I love this stuff,
Yeah,
so she's all like, "Ooh, tell me more."
Well, I think it's fascinating.
Me too. We
yeah.
watch this on
I won't
TV all the
spoil it.
time.
Watch the video because
Okay.
it goes in detail
I will.
on everything.
Yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
very cool.
And
Very
next
cool.
month, for June, Ramon's going to be joining me for a Para Oracle where we're going to be investigating a haunted place in England, the Black Monk House. So
Mm-hmm.
that should be
Yes.
interesting. So pulling some cards on the paranormal again. Bill wanted to ask a question. So Ramon, are your dice balanced or are they loaded to land on a certain number? Ha ha ha, Bill. He's being funny.
Uh,
He's our little comedian. So
no, I love dice, and I assign a value to each one of the numbers, and depending on the color of like I could use, because I also have white ones. So if I want to inquire about spiritual matter, for example, I pull the purple dice and toss it, and that'll be like the topic that related to what I'm inquiring, and then I throw the other white ones as the message. The one as the significator, and then the other ones as the message. Yeah, I have my own system, and I have a video on it too. But I love dice.
I like dice too. I think it's fascinating that you did something with them that would be like a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And that's how the Lenormand started out. It was the game of hope in Germany, where they laid out like a Monopoly. They had dice, and they rolled the dice.
Yeah,
and they
I
moved
did
their
not
little figures. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all these divination tools, they started initially as games, and
Oh,
then
that I did know. Yes. Yep.
yeah,
A lot of them.
yeah,
Yep.
and then
Which I would love to
meanings were
learn to
assigned.
play.
Yeah, meanings were assigned, and from there, it evolved into a lot of different other things.
very cool. Well, they had to hide
Right.
it as a game so that the church and all that stuff and whatnot. So, hey, let's do this, but kind of like hide it as in the guise of a
Mm-hmm.
game, but
Yeah.
yeah, we learned a lot about the Lenormand when Ramon joined me a couple of weeks ago on Madame Lenormand. So that was very interesting as
Yeah,
well.
that was a very interesting topic.
Mm-hmm. So we are at 9:43. Was there anything else that you or Allison wanted to share, or going into the weekend? Anything coming up? Planned videos, shows, or anything else? Final thoughts on La Santa Muerte? Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This was a
Yeah,
wonderful.
I mean, yeah, it was a wonderful topic to discuss, and it's just, if you have an interest in it, just read about it. If it resonates
Mhm.
with you, explore it further, and if not, but
I think I will.
it's
Hmm.
a universal force,
It helped me move
especially.
past my comfort zone, to be able to
Mm-hmm.
look at it in a new way and say, okay, you know.
Yeah, and this is something that I went through a journey. Like, I didn't know anyone who you know uh, had a devotion towards her. So this was a process to me, but I had experience that happened to me that reinforced my interest in it. But anyone has any question, I'm more than happy to answer them. My email is on my channel, so just contact me.
And it should be in the description below as well, along with all his links.
Exactly.
Was there something else, Allison?
Well, I would just and Ramon, thank you so much for talking on this subject. I think it's something
Yes.
that is widely misunderstood, and you don't hear a whole lot about it. And which is why I was and I'm always intrigued about things that people are kind of ooh about, because oftentimes it's not. And this is a perfect example of that. I did want to kind of off subject, want to ask you something. Do you have you ever worked with the Kipper at all?
I'm starting to learn about Kipper. I bought a beautiful deck recently because the ones out there really didn't resonate with me, and I found a really beautiful one that I'm starting to explore.
Okay, I was just curious.
I have a
It
Kipper deck too.
You're so diverse with
Yeah.
what you've delved into. So I'm like, oh, I wonder if he's messed around with a Kipper at all. I'm not drawn to anything, but I love.
Yes.
I
Mhm.
mean, tarot. That's like the only thing. But I love hearing about and seeing different things. But it's like the tarot's the only thing I'm really
Yeah.
drawn.
Let me see if I can pull it quick.
Okay. He's got everything, and then he makes everything.
Yeah, he's got a video
wow.
where he does Java Mancy. He's got.
I know. It's
everything.
like there's so many different
I told
forms.
him he's the he's the
Yeah, and
Britannica
makes up things
Encyclopedia
and-
of Divination.
Like those little dice, and it's just like wow.
No,
Yeah, it's very cool.
you can tell his passion.
So I found this one because I saw a lot online, but I didn't like the style very much. But this one's
Right.
called Christefania Kipper. And what's beautiful about this is it has like such a surreal touch to the artwork. So there's this one, the male person.
Yeah. With
Of
an
course,
owl.
the female person.
With
With
an
an
owl.
Alliance. The artwork is beautiful. Gathering.
Aw.
Gathering.
The Good Gentleman. Good Lady.
Yeah, those are
That's
very
cool.
Let me
cool.
see if I can. Yeah. Pleasant Letter.
Yeah, Jonathan says he hasn't
Thoughts.
seen a Kipper
This one's very
before.
surrealistic. Thoughts.
Very cool. And I like that they're not tiny, tiny.
Yeah.
All the
Gift.
Kippers I've
Look how
seen are
beautiful
like
this
teeny
card is.
tiny. Wow. See, I love the modern
This one's
artwork.
called.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm a
the
whale,
interpretation
too.
of the images.
Hmm.
Like, look at this one, Little Child.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cute with the stork. I love that.
Metamorphosis.
Oh,
Yep,
I like
the
that.
butterfly.
Butterfly.
That's gorgeous. Yep.
Yeah, we saw
Yeah,
Swallowtails
and
today.
like the artwork is, it's amazing. So I was drawn towards learning about Kipper through this deck. Look at this one. Great
Yeah,
Happiness.
great happiness. That's beautiful. Oh.
Yeah, so I
Yeah, I
connect
have to
better
see it
with
on
this one.
Marchetti Kipper.
What is the origin of the Kipper? Is it actually? I'm not going to say what I'm thinking because I'm not sure if I'm right. What's the origin of that? Do you know? Not that deck.
I'm
but
not
I mean
that versed
Kipper.
on that yet. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm barely
wanna
just starting
say
on
it's like-
Kipper, but
like I want to. I don't know.
It's German.
Is it like British or is it okay? 'Cause it
Sounds
feels
to
like
me-
it's for London.
It sounds to me
England,
German.
British.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
German.
Kipper.
yeah, because this is the one that I have. I
But
have
it
the
reminds me
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
yeah, it reminds
Mine's
me a
Victorian
lot
style.
of the Vera Sibilla, which is another oracle, but it's Italian, and that one is much more extensive. It's 52 cards, and it's an oracle that touches on a lot of these different aspects. It's very similar to a French version. It's called Sibylle de Salon, and it's also an oracle that touches on a lot of like social. It's very social. That's how I feel
Right.
Kipper is, and both of them
Yeah.
are very similar in that sense too.
Interesting. Thank you. I thought you might. That's what now I'm curious. Has he done the Kipper or not?
Not yet, not yet. I actually recently discovered Kipper.
Yeah.
And
Well, we'll give you
I
2
said,
weeks.
a new divination tool.
And
Yeah.
then you can tell us
Yeah,
all
give me
about
2 weeks. I'll be completely versed. Yeah,
it. I'm kidding.
I'll be immersed.
Haiku.
But if you're interested in getting, this one, it comes with a beautiful thick booklet, and it
Nice.
talks about each one of the cards, what it means in different aspects. Like
Right.
this one, the living room, it goes what the general meaning it is, a meaning as a topic card, as a character card, as a soul card, as a solution
goodness.
card, and
That's
it's
a lot for
great
me to
quality. And it
remember.
wasn't that expensive, maybe like I don't know, like $18, $20 in Amazon. I got
I've
this
seen
at
a couple
Amazon.
people read with it. I mean, again, I'm more drawn just tarot, like that's my thing. But I don't know. Something about the Kipper. I just think it's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Very cool.
we can do a show in the future about it.
On Kipper,
Oh, yeah.
right? Of course, because
Yeah. Like I said,
Yeah,
I got
on
my
Kipper.
Kipper. You got your Kipper.
Yes.
like Dr. Pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a Kipper too? Be a Kipper.
Yes.
Bye. Ramon, before we go really quick, Miss Tarot D had a question for you, and she apologized.
Mhm.
She can't remember if you already mentioned this. Did you mention why you chose to follow La Santa Muerte? What was like that one word you
It-
knew besides the owl?
Was
Yeah,
that
so
the
it
owl
wasn't like-
landing on the balcony?
that was the catalyst. That was the
That was the-
catalyst because I think the days before that I will see like a lot of the coincidence or synchronicity of the topic of La Santa Muerte videos, or like reading it somewhere. It will pop up over here, there, and then the opportunity came with As I was mentioning, the idea of doing like a Santa Muerte in front of my house, and that experience that that catapulted everything else.
Wasn't that kind of like, without even realizing it, almost a calling in
Yes.
of her when you set up this, you constructed her basically,
Yeah,
and you were
yeah,
open to the thought of her. And is that when you mean you started having all these coincidences, and then you got the owl, and it's like,
mm-hmm. Yeah, like
so
it
cool.
was a lot of like different things that happened at the same time, and I'm telling you, it's brought a lot of positive things in my life,
It's beautiful.
and
It is very
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. It feels very motherly too. It feels like I don't know, like a
it's hard to explain. It's sort of like a
motherly.
strong motherly feminine energy that that surrounds me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It is very beautiful.
Yeah, I actually have one here that I always carry with me.
Oh,
Sometimes I'm on my way to work on my car, I sort of like touch it
just put it
and
in your hand.
meditate.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this
very
is
nice.
just a piece of metal, but it's the connection, the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's imbued with your
Yeah.
energy and your
Mm-hmm.
devotion to
Yes.
her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like Allyson
Yep.
wears her
Yeah.
pentacle. I think Allyson, you said that's what you wear every single day because that's your connection.
Yeah, I don't take it off,
your
and it actually
spirituality.
is
Yeah.
not because of that, but it has two little skulls on it too. And I don't
Oh.
take it off.
Oh, that's cute.
It's always. I mean, once in a while I'll take it off when I take a shower, but usually I leave it on.
Mm-hmm.
And Shan
But
wears
anyway.
the Scream Man
Yeah,
every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I put it with this one. This is a Hamsa. I love Hamsas.
Oh yes.
For me, it's a
Mm-hmm.
I have
Oh,
Hamsas
here's
around the
an
house, a
interesting
keychain.
question, Ramon, for you. Karen says, I wonder if your linkage with her has brought the child spirit into your life because she's like a motherly figure. I just thought that was interesting how she brought that up.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I
It's
feel
a
like
possibility.
that child's connected to the land.
Yeah, well,
Not
it's
necessarily the house, but the land.
no,
I don't
because
know.
the thing with the child, it happened shortly after we moved here, and we've been living in this house for 4 years. La Santa Muerte came after that, later. But
Was the child there since you got there? And I will watch the video, but was she
Yes.
there like right
Yeah.
away?
yeah, as soon as we moved in, like we didn't like at least notice any manifestation, but as we made the house ours, and did some changes and everything, we started noticing like more activity. We
Right.
put a
That
lot of
will
love in this
happen when
house,
you renovate old
especially my
houses.
partner.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah,
And if it's very
it was
homey
with
feeling,
renovations
she
because
might
we
enjoy
did the
being there.
yeah.
Alrighty. Well, it's almost 10 o'clock. What boy, time flies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know Allyson probably has to, and Ramon, you must be exhausted from doing 2 shows.
Yeah,
back to
thank
back.
you for joining us for so long,
Yes.
Ramon. I know
No.
you did a live prior to this one.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Jonathan,
it.
really quick.
Thank you very much for having me.
To add was, I wear a part of a conch shell that I've been wearing since I was honored to be able to go to the Mayan underworld. Check out the ATM cave in Belize. I don't take it off ever. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Like this
Okay.
Hamsa, I had it with me for like 12 years. It was a gift, and it's been with me ever since. And I wanted to have her, as a representation of protection with me.
Very nice. Beautiful. Well, not Jonathan, because I was looking at Jonathan's name in the chat. Ramon, do you have any other live shows planned for this weekend, or are you taking off the weekend for Memorial?
Not really. I have one on Saturday. On Sunday, poetry.
Oh, that's
on your
right.
channel.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
On your channel. Or am I not the guest?
You are the guest.
Yes, I'll be on.
Ramon
Yes,
will
for
be
poetry
doing
night.
Haiku. Yes, Jeff was really
Yes,
excited about doing haiku again. So,
yeah, haiku is fun, and I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. I was telling.
And
Jeff
then a couple more.
Oh, sorry. But I've just been getting into so
No,
much
no, I got
more
invited
since
to
we've
other
been doing
shows.
that poetry. Yeah. I'm sorry. No, you go.
Yeah. No, no, I got invited to different channels like all the way
Hmm.
through mid June. But
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna start doing my own lives. There's two shows that I want to do. One is called Oraculum, and it's
Hmm.
live readings using different divination tools at the same time. Like tarot, it could be tarot and geomantic sticks, dice, because I combine different tools uh, during divination readings, and because it adds more depths. So it's just a show on that, and using other forms of divination which are not commonly used. And then another one which I haven't announced yet, but I'll just say here, it's called In Orbit With. And it's a channel, it's a show in which I interview people from the community. You know, we talk about different topics, our path in spirituality. And one
That
of
sounds
my first
wonderful.
guests is somewhere here among the people who are in the chat. I'm looking forward to having her. Yeah, and
Very
I'll invite
nice.
you on one of the shows one day.
Oh, I hope so. That would be splendid. As Jackie would say, that would
Of
be
course.
grand. Our friend Jackie from
Grand.
Ireland. So I
Yeah.
don't know if
And
we lost
on
Allison. Oh, go ahead, continue.
yeah, on Tuesday, no, on Tuesday I'm going to be sharing a show with Hershey and Karen Care Bear. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
be doing a birthday shenanigans, and we're gonna be talking about everything Gemini and just a casual conversation.
Oh, that's
This
cool.
Tuesday. It's not
Very
announced yet,
nice.
but yeah.
No, it is. Oh, yep, we lost her. Might have been the connection. Um, so was
Yeah.
there anything else that you wanted to share before we wrap things up? It was a pleasure to have you,
No,
as
that was it.
always.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank you. I'm
Alrighty.
always honored to be here. I
Yes,
think this is
thank
the
you.
channel that I've been the most in.
Ooh, makes me feel extra special. But when people are creative, like with the
Yes.
poetry and with the art, and you and I both have a connection with art, and
Yeah.
just the appreciation of art history and all the different genres, and you know getting those creative juices flowing, and the paranormal, and yeah, I'm enjoying my little in orbit circle that I have with everybody recently. So,
Good.
um, alrighty.
That's
So
good.
everybody, thank you again for joining us. And yes, Sunday night here, 8 p.m. Um, Ramon will be joining Jeff and I.
Poetry night
Jeff's
with
very
Jeff.
excited to do haikus. So we're going to probably be focusing on some haikus with our prompts and stuff that we get. And that'll be at 8 p.m. And so it's nice to see Heather's juices flowing well. Yeah, the good ones, the creative ones. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, Miss Tarot D, thank you everybody. Have a safe
Ay, ay,
and
ay.
happy Memorial Day weekend, and we will see you on. Oops, sorry everybody, I accidentally kicked myself out before ending the stream. Good night, y'all.